Howdy friends, it's me, it's Michael B. Thank you so much for checking out today's video, and in today's video, we got some pretty exciting news to share with you. First off, for those of you who've been going to Costco, checking out the Jurassic Park Stern Pinball Home Edition, looking at that price tag of $5,000 and saying, I wish this was cheaper. Well, several Costcos have steeply dropped the price. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. On top of that, Arcade1Up made an announcement at CES that was met with kind of some criticism that they were bringing back the Fast and the Furious. Well, it looks like it was only for a limited time. As many people are reporting, it's already sold out. And then last but not least, Iconic Arcade announced the Street Fighter II World Warrior XXL arcade during CES, along with the Street Fighter II Alpha. One YouTuber, namely this one, had an absolute hemorrhage about the side art. Well, I'm going to clarify my feelings about this arcade and give you a little bit of an update on the side art and all the other things right after this. So that's right, guys, we got a ton of news today, and I know you guys want to get right into it, so I won't belabor this any longer. Thank you so much for checking out the video, guys. I always appreciate the support. If this is your first time to the channel, you like what you see, go ahead, subscribe, click the bell for notification, all that YouTube jazz. So first up, let's talk about Jurassic Park Home Edition Stern Pinball. This was released in Costco late last year. A lot of people were very excited about this, but it still had a pretty significant price tag of roughly around $5,000. I think it was selling for about $4,799. You could buy this model also off the Stern website for about $6,000. When looking at your value proposition, it really wasn't that far off for Pro, so the question was, what's the value in picking up this model compared to the Pro Edition? The Pro Edition obviously is more the iconic game developed by Keith Elwin. This is a different version developed by Jack Danger. It doesn't have the same toys and features. It has a different DMD. This may not have been the arcade for you. You'd want it a lot cheaper if you were going to consider picking it up. Now, you guys know my buddy P-Dubs. He actually went out to a Costco, found one of these, had a chance to play it. He said he enjoyed it, but again, he also complained about the price tag at $4,799. Really tough to justify when you can really make the jump up and get the Pro Edition. So I don't know if there's a ton of value, but I'm not critical of anybody who bought it. Obviously, having a real pinball machine in your home is amazing. I have one myself, and this one supposedly is still very good, as Jack Danger designed it, very different from the other one, so it still plays really well. Well, this is a post from All Things Arcade, and it's making its rounds around the pinball pages right now. Someone went to their local Costco and saw the Jurassic Park Home Edition marked down from its initial price of $4,799, $2,799 off. You could possibly pick this up if it's at your local Costco for this price for $2,000, which is a much more, eatable price or likable price. So, that's something you could definitely get into. When you take into consideration if you're going to be in the home arcade space and buying a virtual pinball machine, the best one available through retail for a low price is in fact the AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP. And if you're going to buy the standard edition, the deluxe edition, not the starter edition with features locked out and no topper, that one's going to be coming in at $1,499, so $15,000. Then on top of that, you're going to buy the SSF kit, and you're also going to pay for shipping. So if you do the math on that, by the time you get it home, you're going to be shelling out $2,000. So you can either shell out $2,000 for this, which is a very, very good product. I'm not saying it's not, or the Jurassic Park Home Edition, which is a physical pinball machine. It does, in fact, have a real whiteboard or whatever the playfield is made of, just like the real machines. It's got all kinds of cool game options. I mean, this is your chance to get into a physical pinball machine, essentially for the same price as the AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP with surround sound feedback kit. So anyways, guys, for anybody interested, happy hunting. Get to your local Costco's. Ask the manager if they have one because, honestly, that Jurassic Park Home Edition pin at $2,000 is a deal I don't think you should miss if you're interested in getting into physical pinball. Believe me, it doesn't stop at one, unless you don't have the money like me. Anyways, moving on from there, let's talk about Arcade1Up because I was pretty critical of Arcade1Up's CES announcement, but it turns out it may have been exactly what they needed. Now, Arcade1Up's CES announcement didn't blow the tires off anybody. No one was really excited. A lot of people have been waiting for new products, more XL cabs, new things to come to retail, and we didn't get that. But what they did bring out was a basically restock on the Fast and the Furious Arcade1Up, an arcade that was met with a lot of criticism back and forth because it really only uses one game, while other people seemingly loved it. It was an interesting choice to bring back. Me personally, I was hoping some of these would show up in Canada, but it turns out that isn't very likely because of what I'm going to tell you today, and the fact that they only actually got 380 new units in the ports. Now, like I said, only 380 of these came into the ports, so we're not talking about a massive clearance here and a massive sellout and a huge celebration, but give Arcade1Up some credit. I mean, this was only announced when was it? On the 7th, so I think that was Tuesday, and already there are no more available. Like, if you go to Best Buy right now, it clicks that it's sold out. So people across the community have been stating the items are already sold out, concerned that orders from other places aren't going to go through. Now, while it's easy to give Arcade1Up credit for releasing an arcade people obviously want, it wouldn't be fair not to talk about the reason these are probably actually selling out and why people are going after them so quickly. It's because Team Encoder have recently done a mod for this cabinet. James Hates Everything did a video explaining how the mod works for Team Encoder, how you're going to be able to update this and put all kinds of other games on it. So it seems like there's an ulterior motive to people picking up this cabinet, not just playing the games that come included, but also with this mod. Obviously, this cabinet has a ton more value, so really it was a perfect storm for them to release more of the Fast and the Furious right after this mod came out to the public. Now moving on to the new king of home arcade, or at least it seems like it after CES. In the arcade recreation category, let's talk about Iconic Arcade, who unveiled their first retail offering to the United States this past week. Partnered up with Media 1UP for a John D joint. They announced a Street Fighter Alpha and a Street Fighter 2 World Warrior cab with the same games list. Now, I know what you're saying. Oh my god, Mike, not again about the side art. I know I've talked your ear off. I am pretty adamant about it. But let me clarify my position on this cabinet. Now, if you guys have taken a look down in my arcade, obviously I have 4 of the 5 big boy Arcade1Up XL or Pro cabs already, so I am absolutely elated. There's more arcades of this size and form factor that are essentially built like Arcade1Ups coming onto the market. And even though it's only Street Fighter, a lot of people are unhappy about that. I'm pretty excited. Now, obviously, I prefer arcades with the original artwork. I like them to be more of a recreation. That's why I was so hyped about the idea of New Wave Toys possibly stepping into this market. But as you can see, these are in fact recreations. They do kind of have that Street Fighter Dynamo form factor, Capcom Dynamo form factor that we all know and love. However, here, with these new products, they decided to get a little bit artistic with the side art. The fronts are amazing, like the original arcades, but here, as you can see, this is from B Kong's video, going down, they went very creative with the side artwork, and you can't really blame them because the original arcade was very, very, very different. In fact, if you take a look at the original arcade, many of these were just conversions with a sticker thrown on the side. Not necessarily my favorite thing I've seen, but, you know, this one is just so starkly different. And I don't know if it's that the artwork isn't original so much as I really don't like how it contrasts with the actual cabinet, and I don't like the big Street Fighter 2 up the side. But let's get off the artwork for a second and talk about what I do like about the machine. I kind of covered it a little bit earlier there. It has everything we wanted from Arcade1Up for those of us who've been preaching more XL cabinets. So we are getting something that is an XL size. Now, a lot of people have been stating, oh, it's only as big as some of the larger Arcade1Ups. Yeah, the XL cabinets stand about as tall as like some of the other big Arcade1Ups like Terminator 2 and stuff like that. But the big difference here is overall the size is more realistic to a real arcade cabinet, and that's what some of us want. Also, there's more room on the control panel. It's a little bit wider. Hopefully, they make it even a little bit more wider. It's got that girth. It's going in the opposite direction of Arcade1Up, who are going with these slim cades. So I really like that. And when they do an arcade that has real artwork, unlike these, they can actually do the real artwork with no concessions because it does have the right girth in order to do the artwork, and they don't have to mock something up or crop something out. So I like that. I like the fact that we have more Arcade1Up, or as we're calling them here, Iconic Arcade XXL cabinets to play with. I like that there's no mistake with the screen out of the gate. We're getting a 19-inch BOE monitor. I know I said in my initial video they probably could have put a 26-inch in there. Who knows? Maybe they'll do an Iconic Arcade Street Fighter Jumbo Edition that is arcade accurate and put the bigger screen in there later on. The buttons, you know, that probably does leave a lot to be desired. I mean, I think that John is going to learn from what he did with Arcade1Up. Obviously, we're not getting official commercial arcade quality buttons in this, but hopefully he goes with something a little bit better than what Arcade1Up were using. The other thing is, this is essentially an Arcade1Up XL cabinet. I mean, it's made in the same factory. It has the same wood, the same parts. It's going to be put together the exact same way. So we know what we're getting in terms of quality. The only variable, of course, right now, a lot of us don't know, what's the UI going to look like and how the online feature is going to work. So those are a couple new things, but everything else is going to be very familiar to those of us that like the Arcade1Up XL format, now with Iconic Arcade XXL arcades. Now, I know I've been bitching and moaning about the art for a while, even in the, behind the scenes sweet interview that B-Kong hosted on his channel a couple days ago. I gave John a lot of shit about the art, and it probably sucked, man. He just released a new product. It sucks to get kind of like the negativity I've been putting forward toward it, but I'm very passionate about this stuff, and I'm very excited to see a new product. I like it so much, specifically that Street Fighter, which I think is absolutely beautiful on the front. Just have a problem with the side art, so I gave him a little bit of a hard time. And you know the cool thing? This is not final. This is a prototype. So what they're looking at right now are options to make some changes. There's some questions about the power button. There's some questions about the height of the cabinet that they're going to take a look at, maybe some more with the width to make the control panel a little bit more comfortable. But one of the things he said he would look at is, in fact, the side art. So there's an opportunity for us to take a look at the side art and see if there's something we can do better. Maybe they're going to give us a couple options we can vote on. And if it stays with the original side art, I mean, it's not the worst in the world. I just wish that it was a little bit more arcade accurate and the big Street Fighter 2 was off the side. Well, guys, that's the news for today. I promise I won't harp on the art anymore, and I'll tell you the truth. I am very excited for this product. I'm excited to see more large-scale arcade recreations coming home to the market. I love that Street Fighter 2 World Warrior cab. Alpha looks beautiful, and it's the first time we've got the Alpha series in the home arcade sector in a large-scale cab, 3/4 or above. So very excited for people in the fighting game community and people that are fans of that franchise to play it. The games list is incredible. We've got, Street Fighter, all the Street Fighter Alphas, Street Fighter Third Strike, you've got Giga Wing, you've got the best games that we've ever had on Capcom cabs. I think these cabinets are absolutely winners if you like Arcade1Ups, and specifically if you like Arcade1Up XLs. I hope the art changes, but you know what? I'll even throw in the towel on this. Even if the art doesn't change, I still love that cabinet. Like, obviously, I'm very passionate. I let it get out of hand, but more than likely, even if the art doesn't change, I'll still probably pick it up. I mean, it's no worse than Shack Jam, right? I still like that cab. Anyways, guys, on top of that, amazing deal on the Jurassic Park Home Edition. Get out to your Costco's, do whatever you have to do to pick that one up, because even if you don't end up planning on keeping it, that's going to sell, resell for even much more. So you can pick it up, find out if you like mechanical pinball, and if you eventually want to trade up and go get a pro, that's probably going to sell for more than what you paid for it. So jump on that opportunity. And then last but not least, holy shit, Fast and the Furious sold out already. Of course, there was only 380 units, but obviously these mods, whether it be buy stuff with their driving box, or of course the mystery encoder team with their soft mod they had now, this is something that's in very high demand. If you haven't already ordered one, you might want to go do it. Feel bad for the Canadian fans, thought we might eventually finally get it. Doesn't look like that's the case, but who knows, maybe they'll do more. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments what you think of everything we covered today. Am I being a jerk about the iconic arcade XXL Street Fighter II World Warrior side art? Or do you kind of agree with me? Do you wish that was a little bit different? Or do you like it the way it is? What do you think of the Fast and the Furious? Did you pick one up? Did you manage to get in before they were sold out? And are you going to go to Costco? Once again, thank you so very much for watching. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. I'll talk to you next time.